Hey everyone, I'm Jacob Moran and you're watching the Permanent Rain Press.
Hey everyone, it's Chloe with the Permanent Rain Press. Today I am so happy to be joined by Jacob Moran. How are you?
Thank you. Yes, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited because you have so much to talk about. Of course, the Black Phone, which we'll get into, but I wanted to start with music because for you, it started at 18 months old. You picked up the drums. I know your father was a musician, so you grew up in a musical household. What are some of your earliest musical memories?
That's a great question. For me, all I can remember in my brain was really like when I was really little, like 16 months old. We had a set of timbales in my basement, which is if you guys don't know what that is, it's like two drums with a click and like a cowbell. And I had a pair of drumsticks, and all I would do, I was just bang them, no rhythm, no nothing. Just banging a bunch of drums in the basement. And I remember also when I was little, every night we'd have, like little dance parties. My parents would play music, we'd dance around. And that's when I, kind of felt the rhythm and like, I like this. And then, I had a bunch of toy guitars, toy drums, things like that. So that's all I'd ever want to play with. Like, I want to play with the toy guitar, the toy drum. And that's sort of when I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is fun. So then I was 7 and I decided, maybe I should get some lessons. So I got, drum lessons, guitar lessons, and that's where it all started.
It's funny because I think I don't know how many years ago, but there was like Garage Band, Rock Band, like those games. So I'm sure those are really exciting for
Oh
you, but you
yeah,
took it to the next level because you were actually like, buy me the instrument. I actually
for
went
sure.
to learn to
Yes.
play it. And fast forward to 2017 to 2019, you toured with School of Rock, the musical, over 300 shows in 33 cities. How was that
Yes.
experience for you?
I mean, as an 11-year-old kid traveling around the US and Canada, for me, it was such an amazing experience. And I think for school too, like getting to travel around and go to museums in different cities and stuff, I took a lot from it. And it was such a fun way to learn. But as far as performing, like it really, what I got out of it is, really learning like the work ethic. Like you go to a job almost and you get paid and stuff, at 11, which seems crazy to me that I can't believe I did it. You have to be able to talk to adults, like talk to people who are older than you. So I really matured from it, and it helped me, now for all the things that I do. So it was a surreal experience.
Which was your favorite musical number to perform live?
I think for me and for everyone, I think was the final number when, everyone was super excited. Everyone's adrenaline was bumping up. The crowd was standing up. I think it was the finale number, like basically when the show was about to close out. I think that was my favorite number personally.
I think I was like just looking at clips because obviously this is a historic musical, but Stick It to the Man also looked like
Oh
a
yeah, stick
lot
to
of
the man,
fun.
of course.
Yeah. Do you
Yes.
think you could still perform the musical numbers today or not so
I
much?
mean, that's a lot of jumping around. And like I even on tour, I had like ankle problems and stuff. I had to go to like a what's it called?
Like a
What's it called to like
physiotherapist,
yeah,
chiropractor, that kind of stuff.
exactly. I don't know. I cannot even imagine how many times I jumped up and down on that show. It was crazy.
You're like, it was only a few years ago, but even now you're thinking like,
Yeah,
how did I do it? All that energy.
exactly. It's crazy.
I guess there's a reason why it's like a kind of kid's performance and you're not meant
Yeah.
to do it when
No, I could
when
not do
you're
it.
like a later teenager. But in terms of being a performer, you mentioned like work ethic and things like that. You not only had to know James's part, which is your starring role, but understudied for Freddie. So what was it like having to deal with kind of two different characters at one point in time?
Yeah. I'd say what I got out of it mostly was, or what I've learned was to be able to, switch my character because, when you play two roles and like you say last minute you have to switch, which actually happened to me one time. We were in Toronto and the guy who played Freddie, he actually got bit by a squirrel and he couldn't perform because I think he had to go to the doctor, the hospital, whatever it was. It wasn't too bad, but they told me, like they called my parents, they called me and they were like I was already in my James costume and everything. And I had my mic ready, everything was ready. And they were like, okay, you got to go on as Freddie. Cameron, who was playing Freddie, can't get to the show today. So, oh my gosh, my adrenaline it was crazy. It was like 30 minutes before, the show was about to start. So I remember they came over like like the speakers in the theater was like, okay, the role of Freddie will now be being played by Jacob Moran. And that was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And they call my mom, and she like raced over in her pajamas. Basically, it was so last minute, and it was a great show. Everything went smooth as far as I can remember. But yeah, I'd say for sure, being able to switch that role as an understudy last minute is something that was difficult.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's such a nice learning experience to know that you have it in you and you have that
Yes,
capability.
for sure.
You performed at your hometown theater, the venue Fox Theater in
Yeah,
Atlanta. Must have been a dream come true. Do you remember that performance well?
I do. Yes, I do. I mean, that theater is so beautiful with like the stars and everything on the ceiling. Yeah, that was for sure. That might have been one of my favorite venues if I can remember. Yeah, that was a super cool experience. Because all my family, friends, everyone got to come watch and support. So that was very fun.
So we know that you sing, you play drums and guitar. Do you write or compose your own music?
I'd say here and there, whenever I'm trying to learn music, I learn the music, but whenever I can, of course, I'll, pluck out my own rhythms or, create my own drum patterns. So yeah, I'd say whenever, I don't like write it down because I'm not big with like writing things down, which is, I should get better at that because, if I love to remember the things that I come up with. But yeah, for sure. I do come up with my own guitar and drum things.
What's interesting is one of your co-stars in the Black Phone, Brady. I think he's starting to learn guitar. So have you given him any like
Yeah.
tips or
Yes, I was
tricks?
actually on FaceTime with him the other day. We were both learning the Hotel California solo, and we were helping each other out. And yeah, so yeah, he's trying to play too. It's been fun. And Miguel and a bunch of other people are playing guitar.
You all have to like create some kind of band,
I
garage
know, I
band, or
know, I
I'm
know.
sure people would love it if you did like an Instagram live or like
That's
a
what we're trying to
TikTok
do.
duet,
Yeah,
things like that. Just gotta make sure that you get it down pat so when you go live, you're not completely out of sync, or that might be
exactly.
chaotic, I'm sure. But
I know, I
people
know.
would love it and watch it either way. But let's kind of segue into the Black Phone and Billy. We unfortunately don't get to learn too much about him, but I was curious if you created a backstory or spoke with your writers and figured out, what his life looked like.
Yeah, so this is, I'd say, one of the things that I loved about Billy because, I got to make him my own because there wasn't much backstory like you were saying. So, I mean, I pictured Billy as like, I mean, he didn't have many friends. He was the paper boy. He loved to deliver newspapers. Like he wanted to, get on top of the new papers that were coming out, make sure he got everything so he can deliver them. And that's really what he focused his life on. And as far as like family and stuff, maybe he had like a older sibling, younger sibling. I don't feel like he, was as much as involved with his family as he was, with his paper business, because that's what he loved to do. Um, so that's what I would say for Billy.
What do you think he spent his paper money on? I'm curious if you thought that
That's a great
that far
question.
into it.
Paper money, paper money. Well, I'd say first, of course, getting. I mean, I would assume you'd have to buy more papers. So I guess you do some like,
Reinvest it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe help with his bike, maybe add some stuff to his bike. And he loved his dog. So maybe he got some dog treats, some candy. Billy, I don't know,
Just the
things like
paper
that.
boy. I think it's interesting because, he tells Finney, he asks him, "Oh, call me paper boy, not Billy. That's not who I am anymore." Like, how many do you think he's been doing this for years? Because it was clearly such a part of his core memory that made it part of his identity that he remembered. He like didn't even remember his name.
Yeah. So I kind of thought two things. So, cause I know when I'm talking to Finney in the basement, I'm like, it's not who I am anymore. So I think really once, I guess, I don't know if he got into the paper business, like later on in life, which is what I think he did. So once he started doing that, like I was saying before, I don't think he had many friends. So like, that's all he was invested in. Like, that's all he wanted to do. So he wanted to be called the paper boy. And I think that's where that came from.
Yeah, I'm sure that, when you're young, you kind of create maybe an identity for yourself. So you kind of latched onto that. It's sad to hear that you think he didn't have many friends.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know. I just like it's like the quiet, a little on the quieter side. Like loves playing with his dog, you know.
Obviously, a large part of the Shadow Kids' presence is through their phone calls with Finney, so sound instead of a visual guide. He has a couple of calls with him. What did you personally focus on in your dialogue and tone?
Um, so for me personally, when I really focus on like, like that dark, quiet, scary, like breathy kind of tone. Because Finney, he had to be quiet too. So I didn't want to make him have to get loud over anything we're talking about. And I'm kind of like matter of fact because I don't remember much either. So everyone's trying to remember what was going on. And we're really just trying to, the goal here is to help Finney get out of the basement and make sure what happened to us doesn't happen to him. So, and a cool story, actually, the phone, how we talked to Finney was there was like a phone outside of the basement because it was all filmed in a studio. The basement was like a big wooden box and inside of it had all all the bed and the phone and everything. And, there was this like landline phone on the outside. So you'd pick it up and when you pick up the phone, it'd ring inside the basement and that's how they controlled it. So that was something that was super fascinating for me. And not seeing your face on camera, but knowing like you're right outside of the room talking to Finney, I thought that was super cool.
Yeah, thank you for that tidbit. So, were you actually talking back and forth with Mason when you were filming?
Yes. Yeah, we actually were.
I think that that's an important element because I do know that there's sometimes when people are talking on the phone, they're not actually conversing with the other person. It's just kind of cut together. So I think it adds
Sure.
that extra connection element that you were
Yeah.
actually having those conversations. Take me through your hair and makeup routine on set.
Oh my gosh. It was crazy. And the guys who did it were super talented. Just wanted to say that first. They worked on so many cool projects that they were telling about, like Ninja Turtles, the live action ones. They did all the makeup for them, and talking to them was super cool. We have rock music going on in the trailer. Everything about the makeup process was awesome. But like as far as how it went, because we were dead and we looked all pale and stuff. I feel like I remember they started off. They had these big spray machines in there, and they sprayed us with this like not dust, but this like paint stuff to make our face look pale, and did our hands and they did our arms and every single any skin that was showing in the film. They did that, and then they put on the cuts. And after they put on the cuts, they would fill it in with like the blood. And as far as the blood goes, they had like different shades of it and different like thicknesses. So they have like a really thick blood, like a really watery blood. So I mean, like as it, came on my face, it just looked more real and real and real. And I thought that was super cool watching them do that. But yeah, it was a process. I mean, I think it took like 3 hours from hair to makeup. 3 hours. Yeah.
Did it ever alarm you how real, like that cheek cut especially looked?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and the neck and they put on our teeth, this like, it was like a blood mixture with some other stuff they like painted on our teeth. So, once I got my makeup on for the first time, like first time ever, and I went in my trailer to get my wardrobe on, I was just like, I held my phone out to my face and I like opened my camera and I like took a few pictures and I was like, what? I was like, this is crazy. This looks too real. And, I was like, I FaceTimed my dad and I was like, Dad, look at this. And he was like, whoa, what's going on? Cause I was with my mom at the time on set. And it was just super funny because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that on myself.
You're like, I hope that never happens, obviously, in real life, but
Yeah.
it's nice that it's film and you mentioned it's like the hair, makeup, everyone's so talented.
Yeah, for
Now,
sure.
what was your first impression of the Grabber as a movie villain and his mask? Because it was very creepy to
First
audiences.
impression. Okay, yeah. This is actually a really cool story. I remember I was sitting next to Ethan Hawke in the makeup trailer, and this is when I got to watch him like go through the process of him putting the mask on, and this is also one of the first times I was in the trailer too. And he was getting his like makeup done around his face, like the white, because they had the mask and all the white on him. So that's the first time I saw the mask, and I saw it in one of the makeup artists' his hand. He was holding it, coming over to Ethan to put it on his face, and I saw that thing. And you know how they have like the different masks, right? So yeah, I saw. I think it was the one with the smile, like the big smile. I can't really remember, but I think it was the one with the big smile. And he had it in his hand. He was walking over to put it on his face, and I just looked at that thing like, wow, that's the mask. So it was super cool to see it for the first time.
And the thing is, like, it's in multiple sections, right? So I feel like it adds that element where it's like it
Oh
changes with the
yeah.
moods and it's multi-dimensional.
Yeah, I thought that was
And
super clever for yeah, from the writer's perspective. Yeah.
Ethan did such a great job in that role. Did I know you didn't really share many scenes, but you mentioned seeing him in the trailer. Did you get to kind of say hi, maybe like
Yeah,
talk a
yeah.
bit? Because he's
For
someone who's
sure.
so
Yeah, I got to
seasoned
introduce
in the
myself, say
industry.
hi. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he was super cool. It was amazing getting to, watch him on set and, watch people who have so much experience, like, watch what they do because you can really learn from it. So yeah, it was super cool.
Now, did you get to take anything home from set to keep?
From the black phone, no, I did not. But let me think. Did I take, I don't think, no, I don't think I took anything from the black phone, but some other projects like, I've gone to take like things, especially from School of Rock. I got to take, like some of like the little things, like the glasses I wore and one of the jackets, I think, like little things here and there. But I don't think anything specifically from the black phone. No.
I was gonna throw a couple things out there that I thought would have been nice to keep. The missing poster, I
Oh,
thought.
yes, yes, yes. Did I, I don't think I have one of those. No. No, but yes, that would be super cool. I think I can get them. I don't know where, but not from the movie, of course. But yeah,
I
that would be
think
super cool.
almost like you could probably just print some off online. I know people have
Online.
like kind of zoomed in and seen what they look like, because those would have been so cool to like I think get signed by cast and crew, that kind of memento. And the satin bomber jacket, I was gonna say, was a nice one. Would you have
Oh my
liked to
gosh.
keep that in your wardrobe?
Of course, I would frame that. I mean, that would be so cool. Yeah, because I had the two jackets where when you have the alive Billy and the dead Billy, where it was just basically all gray and just dirty, and then the cut in my chest. So yeah, I think that'd be super cool to have like both of them like right next to. I mean, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, one definitely had dried blood on it. So,
Yes.
from their makeup team. Now, what did you learn from your director, Scott Derrickson, and both watching him work behind the camera and how he interacted with the cast and crew?
Yeah, for sure. Scott, watching him, have his vision for each scene come to life was something that I've never seen before. And how he worked with everyone to make everything happen was super incredible. And the relationship that Scott had with Ethan, they had a really great relationship on and off set. So because I know they worked on things before, but watching them, have such a great relationship really ties into bringing the film together and making it a great film. And Scott also had a kid in the movie. His son, he was in the convenience store scene. So I think Scott having a kid, knowing how to deal with all of us kids is also really helped. Bring everything together, and it was super fun.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And do you remember when you saw the final cut for the first time of the film, and what were your emotions kind of going through that?
For me, this is my first like red carpet event, like big movie premiere, and getting to see it in the TCL Chinese Theater was it was unbelievable. And it was when I arrived there and all the people were just standing there and the cameras were going, it was crazy. I mean, it nothing like I've ever experienced before. But once we got in the theater, we sat down, we had snacks and everything, and the movie started. As like the scenes went on, and like I just kept realizing all these things like, oh, I don't remember that. And then, oh, I see that. I don't remember that either. And everything just coming together. But what I feel like really made the movie, not come together, but like become magical was the music. The music really gave it a lot of life. And, cause that's like in a horror movie, the suspense music is like what really brings it together. So I thought getting to see the scenes with the music was something that was super cool.
What can you share about, your friends Mason, Madeline, and their work in the film? Because they did phenomenal as these
Yeah,
young
they were
siblings.
they're super talented actors. And I'm super glad I got to meet them and become friends with them because uh yeah, they were super professional on set and off set. And we all had such a great time. I mean, all the kids were so awesome. We all still, keep in touch and are friends. So yeah, they are super professional and awesome to work with.
Do you have a favorite scene of the siblings? Can you pinpoint one?
I like the scene when Finney's having breakfast and they're kind of messing around like before the dad gets mad. But I thought it was funny, when she comes in, she puts like the toast in the oven and they kind of look at each other. I think they have such a good relationship in the movie as siblings. And that's another thing that makes the Black Phone or the whole movie, really comes together. Their relationship means a lot in the movie. And I think that's one of the greatest parts of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a driving force, especially for Gwen. You filmed this early 2021 in North Carolina. So you said, watching the film for the first time is kind of jogging your memory. What are some other memories you have from behind the scenes and just getting to know each other?
Yeah, so because we were filming in Wilmington, so it was my first time in Wilmington, and I was like, there's not gonna be much to do here. What are we gonna do? But after we all like met each other, and we like looked at places we can go, there was actually a lot to do. From beaches to like we went one day to this battleship which you could tour, and there were so many fun like little things to do around town. And it was great because the hotel had a pool. So I feel like all these things we did as a cast really helped us bond and get to know each other. Um, so when we get to set, we'd feel comfortable around each other, of course. So I think being in Wilmington, North Carolina by a beach and stuff like that was awesome because really gave us an opportunity to get to know each other.
There's a Black Phone haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights this year in both Hollywood and the Orlando, Florida parks. I know a couple of your co-stars have gone already. Have any of
Yeah.
your friends also gone, giving you the rundown what to expect?
So actually, I don't think any of my friends have gone yet because we're in Atlanta and it's out west and in Orlando. But Mason and Miguel did go to the one in California and they said it was super cool. Um, and I was watching a YouTube video and I kind of walked me through like the haunted house of the basement and everything was so real. I mean, they had the grabbers popping out and they had like events. It was super cool. And me, Tristan, and Brady are actually going to be going down mid-October to the one in Orlando, and we are super excited about that because I've not been. So we're gonna do like the park during the day, and then at night we'll go to the haunted houses and everything and check it out.
In terms of haunted houses, how are you generally with them?
Oh, I'm fine. Nothing really. I mean, I went to one last year in Atlanta, which I can't remember the name. I think it was called I cannot remember, but it was so crazy. And I didn't really scare me. I mean, some of the jump scares got me, but I love it. I think it's super cool watching all the people that like work in the haunted house. Everything just like comes together and how they like almost perform a show for everyone, trying to scare everyone. I mean, it's so funny, but it's awesome.
I like that you use the word funny because that definitely means you're not scared of them at all. For
Yeah.
Halloween, what are some of what's your most memorable Halloween costume when you were younger? I think everyone has one where they always think back to and be like, that was maybe a cute costume. My parents dressed me up.
Yeah. Oh, for when my parents dressed me up when I was a little kid, I remember my giraffe costume, which I would wear around the house all the time too. After Halloween, it was my favorite thing. It was like a giraffe onesie, and at my school for homecoming week, we had this thing where we dress up as like different themes for the week, and one was baby's first Halloween. So I came to school in like a giraffe onesie because that was one of my first costumes. But another one that I liked that like I chose when I was younger was I think it was like 7 or 8, and it was a killer clown. And I thought that was my favorite costume because it had like a fake chainsaw that like made a noise, or like run around and chase people, and it was fun. That was probably one of my favorite Halloweens.
You're like prefacing your roles in the horror genre in the future, like Pennywise the clown, something along those
Exactly,
lines.
exactly.
Now, before we
Yes.
get into the fans and their support, I wanted to talk about an upcoming project of yours. It's in post-production, New Shoes. What can you share about your character, Tristan, the story, and what made you want to be a part of it?
Yeah, so New Shoes is a film based off of the young rapper Tommy Kane, and it's a true story. Tristan, who's my character, he's a young kid living with his mom, who is a drug addict and a prostitute. And that's obviously something that not a lot of kids deal with or live with. So Tristan, as a character, he carries a lot of the weight on his back from his mom. Um, and his mom, she's doing this because she's trying to help support her and Tristan. But there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear from Tristan, but he also shows his brave side in a lot of the scenes because he really does anything he can to keep his mom safe, because all these people are, coming into the house, and it's like Tristan, he's going through all this, but he wants to be brave to save his mom from anything, that might put her in danger. So it's a really great story. And Tommy, who I'm portraying the role of, was an awesome person to work with. And I had so much fun.
Were you able to kind of ask Tommy questions to help you prepare for this role? I'm sure it helps like having that person there to kind of bounce ideas off of, although at the same time, maybe you want to add kind of your own spin to it as an actor.
Yeah, 100%. I was actually just about to talk about that. So Tommy, who was also one of the directors, who was there every day, getting to work with him too, was super helpful because if I was portraying him as a young kid, of course I want to ask him like, okay, so when this, because all of this is based on like true events, true scenes, like everything, this all happened. So I'd ask him like, so when this was happening, how'd you feel? What are like small little things that I could, do to help portray his character or, tell his story. So I was super happy to hear that he was going to be the director because I just had so many questions for him, and it was really awesome to get to work with him.
Now, you also worked closely with Laura Whiteley, who stars as Tristan's mother, Elaine. Did the two of you discuss your characters with each other and the dynamics that they have?
Yeah. So before I got to where we're filming, we had like a bunch of Zoom calls and, a bunch of like phone calls or whatever. And we'd run our lines, and we really got to like, know each other. So we would talk a lot. But once I actually got to the set, and before filming started, we actually like, we'd go out to dinner to talk, and like you really have like that mother-son bonding so that we could, translate that onto the screen. So yeah, we had a lot of things set up to really, get to know each other. So I feel like that was super helpful for me and for Laura, of course.
How did this role like really challenge you as an actor? Like how did it push you out of your comfort zone?
Yeah, this was one of the biggest roles as far as, acting, because it was so like things that like no kid, not a lot of kids live, from like there were still a lot of scenes that were, very graphic. And like at the time I was still, taking acting lessons and, getting into acting. So I think this role was very challenging for me, in getting into the sense of like, wow, this is happening to me in the movie, and I've got to, figure out how to play this role, so that people can, understand how Tommy lived, because of course it's based off of his life. And I think that would be one of the most challenging things I've done.
Well, I've seen the trailer for it. It looks so gritty and raw, and there's something
Yeah,
just so bleak and sad about, a young boy regularly waiting outside his home with a brick while his mother works inside. But I'm excited to see it brought to life. It's at New Shoes Film on Instagram,
yes,
so people can stay updated when it has
for
its
sure.
wide release. I'm sure you'd be happy to be at a premiere when it kind of comes out officially.
Yes.
It's always fun to, I'm sure, reunite with the people who helped
For
make
sure.
this film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you film and it takes forever to edit it, and then it's like, when am I going to see these people again? So then, we all come together and watch it, and it's super amazing for
Yeah, it's
sure.
a celebration.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. Let's go back now, talk about the Black Phone fans. The support has been unbelievable. What have been some things that you've seen online, and what has that meant to you?
I just want to start off by saying, I just think all of these edits and all of these, like, I guess memes and stuff that people are making is just so funny, because I read them all and I see them all. Sometimes I can't reply to all of them, but I just think it's like, it's really surreal. Like I never thought that this film would turn into like a whole fan base of people, making these super funny things of us. And it's been so awesome to, go on my phone and look at all this stuff, because it's just been funny. From the TikToks to, all this stuff. It's been funny. Um, and it's really, I'm super grateful for all the support, because it's amazing. Yeah.
In terms of screen time, like I would say all the ensemble young cast did an incredible job with what they were given, but you're thinking like I was in maybe a limited number of scenes, but yet
Yeah,
people have attached themselves onto all of these
onto the
Shadow Kids
characters. Yeah,
characters and Billy as well. And there's talks about people dressing up as even Billy for Halloween, and then
yeah.
that must be like unreal,
I
unreal
know,
to
I know, I
you.
know. Yeah, I really had no idea how this film would turn out because when I was auditioning, I've said this before, but like I really did not know much about Blumhouse, and um, so getting to see how this film how this film did is just crazy. And we're getting into Halloween, so it still has more people that are watching it. So it's been quite the experience watching everyone love it.
We'll go through some tweets now. So if you
Okay.
could take your phone out.
All right, I'm going to click on this first one. I'm nervous. Oh, yeah. So this was super cool. Getting to meet Vecna, that was awesome. Oh my gosh. I had no clue he was going to be there. Like I saw him out of the corner of my eye. I was literally about to walk into the theater, but I was like, Mom, I was like, that's the guy from Stranger Things. And I was like, I gotta stay out here. So we got a picture. I got to shake his hand. And it was super cool to meet him because his accent was so strong. It was nothing like it was in Stranger Things. So that was super cool. And I'm super glad I got to meet him. So yeah, that was funny.
What's funny is it's like your movie premiere and you're like, Mom, I really want to meet this other guy, see him
Yeah,
on
I
the red
know. My mom was
carpet.
like, okay, we gotta go in the theater. I'm like, oh, Mom, you don't understand. Like, this is Vecna. He's here.
Were you like that little like fanboy? It's like you were waiting
Yeah, yeah. But
outside
I
to
had to
where he
keep my
walked
calm.
past.
I had to
Yeah,
keep my
you
cool.
tried to do your best, but I mean
Yeah.
it's unbelievable that he came out very cool. I know that there was also some Gianni DiCenzo. I'm not sure if you met him from Cobra Kai. I think
I
he was
did see that he
also
was there. I did not get to meet him though, but yes.
next time around.
Next time around. Yes, exactly. Okay, while Billy was stuck in the basement, he would think of his dog and how he couldn't wait to have the dog. I'll scream, I'll scratch your face. That's funny. There's so many of these. Like I've even seen these on TikTok.
Do you think that that is exactly what he was thinking about when he was in the basement?
Oh yeah, of course. All he wanted to do was deliver some newspapers. I feel he's probably stressing more about getting his papers delivered than getting out of the basement and seeing his dog. That's
He's like,
funny.
people rely on me to deliver papers, but I have to say it
Yeah,
was traditional in how he threw the papers, and they definitely did not hit all the doorsteps. So
that's
there
true.
might
Yeah,
have been some neighbors that were like, that's fine if he doesn't do this route
yeah,
again.
100%. I do not know how to draw Billy Showalter. That's okay. I've seen a lot of drawings, and some of them had been super, super great. Like some of them have been so detailed, and like some of these drawings have been great. But
It's cute, right?
that's awesome. Yeah,
It's crazy how talented people are, and they see you on the screen, and I'm sure that you could already create scrapbooks with the fan art that you've seen
yeah. And that's
online.
another thing. All the fan art and watching people like draw us is so cool. And there's a lot of talented people out there who are doing it, and I really love watching it. I miss Billy Showalter squeezes him like applesauce. Oh, all right.
That's a compliment, right?
Yeah.
I'm like trying to think if I'm sure they're talking about like an applesauce fruit pouch or something
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
I don't really get that. That's funny though. Okay. I want to spin off the black phone where there's a small season for each character so that we can see how they got taken and killed. And also them interacting with each other in the ghost world. I feel like that would be really cool. Yeah, I think that'd be super cool to make like a TV show of all of us or something like that. That'd be fun. And how we all got taken and our backstory. Yeah, I like this one.
Was it ever discussed or talked about behind the scenes?
I mean, really just like us like coming up with like ideas. Like I'd be like just like just like this. Like this would be super cool if we'd make the backstories and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Did you ever personally think about what happened to Billy during his time with the grabber? Like in terms of how many days he lasted, how he ended up meeting his end, which we didn't get to see?
Yeah, I think well And then we got beat with the belt because that's what he talks about. But he had this slit across his cheek, on his neck. He had like a big like circle, like almost like an axe or something was in his chest. Like it was bad. So I don't know if he lasts. I mean, I feel like he lasted a while because he tore the long cable loose. He did like things around the basement. So I would say in a number of days, and then the grabber got him. My favorite genre of Jacob Moran, feral. Oh, okay. Look at these. Yeah, I guess. Okay, I guess I do make. That's funny. I guess I do make those faces sometimes. Well, I guess I'm feral. Like, that's a cat, right? That means like a cat or something, right?
I think so.
I think so.
I have to be honest, I'm not quite into like I don't know all the lingo that people use
Yeah, I don't
nowadays.
know. That's funny. Yeah, there's so many funny things out here.
They can make
I
content out of everything and anything. So
literally
it's
anything.
entertaining, I'm sure, for you to kind of go on, see what people are saying. But there's, of course, just been so much
It,
love for the show and the cast.
yeah, of course.
We have one more question for you, our signature question. If you could be any ice cream flavor, which would you be and why?
Any ice cream flavor. I would say, that's a really good question. I'm gonna have to go with just good old chocolate. I don't know. It's basic, but chocolate is chocolate. That's what I like. I don't know. I'd say that for sure.
That's a good answer. I mean, if you like it, then there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, of
I'd like to thank you so much, Jacob, for taking the time to chat. This has
course.
been
Yeah,
a
thank
lot
you
of
for having
fun.
me.
Make sure to catch Jacob in The Black Phone. It is out now on DVD and video on demand. New shoes coming soon, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.